Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Susan every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Davao del Norte marks 3 years of insurgency-free status. AFP reports over 1,000 CTG members neutralized nationwide. DPWH says flood control audit underway after the President's SONA directive. DOJ says authorities preparing to present new witness to back alias Totoy.
Hello to everyone, especially to our troops at Camp Emilio Ginaldo in Quezon City. Today is Wednesday, July 30, and this is AFP Community News, your source for the updates of the armed forces and other developments across the country. I am Ralph Susan Abay here to bring you today's stories.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
For the brief overview of our news, Davao del Norte celebrated its third insurgency-free anniversary at a provincial gym with the theme celebrating insurgency-free Davao del Norte, sustaining the gains for progress and long-lasting peace. Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation and Unity Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. served as guest of honor, joined by Mindanao Development Authority Secretary Leo Tereso Magno, provincial leaders, and security sector partners. The 89th Infantry Battalion actively took part in the event. The unit received a certificate of commendation and reintegration assistance under the ECLIP program for its efforts in supporting former rebels and sustaining peace in the province.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines reported the neutralization of 1,005 members and supporters of the Communist terrorist group nationwide from January 1 to July 24, 2025. Of the total, 867 surrendered, 71 were apprehended, and 67 died during armed clashes. The military also recovered or accepted the surrender of 540 firearms, 302 anti-personnel mines, and took control of 96 enemy encampments. The AFP likewise neutralized 128 members of local terrorist groups and renewed its call for remaining armed groups to surrender and avail of reintegration under the Enhanced Comprehensive Local Integration Program.
Armed Forces Radio.
And more updates from JAI. AFP partners with Linya Linya to boost West Philippine Sea awareness.
SROF, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, has partnered with local creative brand Linya Linya to promote national awareness on the West Philippine Sea through its communication plan Mulat campaign. The AFP Chief of Staff, General Romeo S. Browner Jr. and Linya Linya founder Ali Sangala signed the Declaration of Cooperation during the Civil Military Operations Coordinating Conference. The collaboration features the Karapat Dagat Ipaglaban campaign using creative messaging to highlight the importance of defending Philippine sovereignty. Proceeds from the initiative will support Filipino troops, fisher folk, and communities in the West Philippine Sea. This is Jai reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you so much, Jai.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Philippine Navy reported monitoring 23 Chinese Coast Guard and naval vessels in the key areas of the West Philippine Sea from July 21 to 27. Philippine Navy spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Rear Admiral Roy Vincent Trinidad, said 7 CCG and 7 planned vessels were spotted in Bajo de Masinloc, while additional vessels were seen near Ayungin Shoal, Sabina Shoal, and Pag-asa Island. The figure is similar to the previous week's tally of 22 vessels, though no Chinese presence was recorded in Bajo de Masinloc during bad weather last July 19 and 20. And the Navy emphasized that Bajo de Masinloc lies well within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, despite of China maintaining control over it since 2012.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Several United States aircraft have arrived in the Philippines to support the ongoing humanitarian assistance and disaster response efforts amid severe weather. Philippine Air Force spokesperson Colonel Maria Consuelo Castillo said the U.S. committed both rotary and fixed-wing aircraft, which are now on standby at the local airbase. Deployment of the 7 U.S. Marine Corps aircraft will depend on guidance from the Office of Civil Defense, which identifies the areas in urgent need. The support aims to boost relief operations as the country faces continued heavy rains and flooding.
Armed Forces Radio.
From NOLCOM, let us hear some information from Joanne about JTF Ognay pledges support to flood-affected communities in Pampanga.
Major General Joseph Norwindi Pasamonte, commander of the Joint Task Force Cognay, under the Northern Luzon Command, expressed readiness to help areas affected by severe flooding in the province of Pampanga. He emphasized this during a courtesy visit at the office of Governor Lilia Nanay Pineda at the capital this Monday. According to Major General Pasamonte, Pampanga serves as the catch basin for water coming from Sierra Madre, which is why the province quickly gets submerged in flood waters. To address this, JTF Ugnay is prepared to extend assistance, particularly in providing manpower and transportation support. Governor Pineda warmly welcomed JTF Ugnay's initiative, fostering a collaborative effort between the provincial government and the military to ensure the welfare of Kapampangans. This is John Sagak reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Joanne from NOLCOM.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines has launched the Heroes Program to strengthen support and services for its veterans and retired personnel. AFP Deputy Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Romero Roldan said the initiative reflects the military's lasting commitment to care for those who once served in uniform. The program focuses on enhancing communication, welfare services, and partnerships to ensure continued engagement with retirees. The AFP emphasized that honoring the sacrifices of its veterans must go beyond active duty and remain a lasting institutional priority.
DWDD National News.
For our national news, the Department of Public Works and Highways is ready to comply with President Ferry Marcos Jr.'s directive to conduct an audit and review and to report on the status of various flood control projects around the country. Public Works Secretary Manuel Bonoan said they have already started the process and in due time will submit a detailed list of all flood control projects, including the status of the projects and their costs. PBBM issued the order in his State of the Nation address after rain from a series of storms and the months flooded much of the country. This raises speculations of rampant corruption and the implementation of the more than 1 trillion pesos spent by the government for flood mitigation measures.
Armed Forces Radio.
From our report on the ground, let us hear the report of Gio about 94 at IB and partners deliver materials for daycare center in Himamaylan City.
Yes, Rof, the 94th Infantry Battalion, in partnership with the Youth for Peace Movement, Youth Leadership Summit, and JL Consultants, facilitated the delivery of construction materials for a daycare center project in Sitio Canluki, Barangay Mahalang, Himamaylan City. The team hauled mesh wires, plywood, cement, and other supplies to support the center's ongoing development. The project aims to enhance access to early childhood education in the remote community. The 94th Infantry Battalion thanked all partners for their support and highlighted the shared commitment to grassroots development and child welfare. This is Gio reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Gio.
DWDD National News.
Interior and Local Government Secretary John Vic Remulla said that decades of poor waste management planning, fragmented disposal systems, and outdated laws are the root cause of Metro Manila's chronic flooding. He explained that Metro Manila has no consistent plan to dispose of solid waste. Remulla added that the problem stems from the government's failure to develop an integrated waste management strategy for the National Capital Region and its surrounding provinces. Local government units, he noted, are left to manage on their own, constrained by limited dump sites, narrow disposal windows, and logistical bottlenecks. The DILG chief then called on lawmakers to revise legal and institutional frameworks that hinder long-term waste management planning.
DWDD National News.
On the other hand, the Integrated Rural Development Foundation called on lawmakers to repeal the rice tariffication law. They urged them to draft a new law that sets a minimum farm gate price of 25 peso per kilogram of palay. IRDF Executive Director Arzig Lipo said the rice farmers are suffering unimaginable losses, bearing an unbearable burden that threatens not only their livelihood but the very food security of the nation. Farmers Group earlier reported that palay prices dropped to as low as 8 to 10 peso per kilogram in some areas. This is significantly below the average production cost of 14.52 peso per kilogram, with prices projected to be even higher this year due to costlier fuel and farm inputs.
Armed Forces Radio.
On the other line, let us hear more from Mike about 101st Infantry Battalion. MNLF hold peace dialogue to strengthen unity in Sulu.
The 101st Infantry Battalion and Moro National Liberation Front leaders in Luk Sulu held a focused peace dialogue yesterday to promote a unity and lasting peace. Both parties discussed key issues on community security, reintegration, and the vital role of former combatants in peace building. Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Dante E. Mantes emphasized that a dialogue fosters trust and shared responsibility in preventing violence and extremism. The event, part of the Army's localized peace efforts under a PCRVE, marked a strong step toward inclusive and resilient communities in Sulu. This is Mike reporting for AFP Community News, 1AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Mike.
DWDD National News.
For other national news, the government is ready to file economic sabotage charges against unscrupulous trades found to be hoarding supply or manipulating rice prices. Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel said that buying rice at too low a price is an act of economic sabotage and that is equivalent to profiteering. He added that the president has a big heart for the farmers. That is why he himself gave the directive to go after the traders and investigate them and, if necessary, prosecute them immediately. To recall, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in his fourth State of the Nation address last Monday vowed to take decisive action against traders who would manipulate the prices of agricultural commodities, especially rice.
DWDD National News.
Finance Secretary Ralph Recto said that the Philippine economy remained one of the fastest growing economies. Recto said the economy has expanded by an average of 5.9% since the Marcos administration took office in 2022. He added that the government was able to bring down the country's inflation rate to 1.4% as of June this year and increase the number of employed Filipinos. Recto explained that the government was able to create jobs, and if they can grow 6 to 7% annually for the next 10 years, they will double the size of the Philippine economy.
Armed Forces Radio.
And now some information from CAF about Joint Forces Airlift Relief Supplies to Batanes in HADR mission.
Yes, good noon. A joint humanitarian assistance and disaster relief HADR operation successfully airlifted vital relief and medical supplies from Tuguegarao Airport to Batanes yesterday. Personnel from Tactical Operations Group 2, the Philippine Coast Guard, Marine Corps, and other government agencies worked together to load the goods onto a C-130 aircraft. The cargo included 150 family packs, 375 hygiene kit pails, 14 medical supply boxes, and key power system equipment for local health services. The mission highlighted the power of unified response efforts in delivering timely aid to disaster-affected communities. This is Scott reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you so much, Kath.
DWDD National News.
Meanwhile, Customs Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno declared a no-take policy as part of the Bureau's anti-corruption efforts and to improve operational integrity. He called on customs stakeholders to comply, warning that corruption will not be tolerated in the Bureau of Customs. Nepomuceno said the policy is non-negotiable and will be upheld in his term of office. The customs chief also emphasized that the success of the no-take policy depends not only on internal enforcement, but also on the discipline and integrity of those engaging with the BOC.
DWDD National
The
News.
Senate Minority Bloc held its first caucus on Tuesday to discuss their plans and legislative priorities. The Minority Bloc is led by Senator Vicente Soto III. It is composed of Senators Panfilo Lacson, Lauren Regarda, Risa Antiveros, and Juan Miguel Zubiri. Soto said this is the first of many Minority Bloc caucuses as they have so much to discuss. He also added that they will meet regularly to make sure that their stand is clear, principles are firm, and their work is focused on protecting the public interest.
Armed Forces Radio.
From 7CRG, let us hear from Jesse about 7CRG CMO team joins PNP to empower Navotas residents on West Philippine Sea advocacy and emergency preparedness.
Yes, good morning. 7CRG CMO team joins PNP to empower Navotas residents on West Philippine Sea advocacy and emergency preparedness. On July 28, 2025, the 7th Civil Relations Group, CRS AFP, in partnership with the Community Affairs Section, Navotas City Police Office, spearheaded a community awareness and outreach program in Barangay North Bay Boulevard North, Navotas City. Led by Police Major Albert Juanilio Jr. and in coordination with the 7th CRG CMO Team 1 under the NCR Command AFP, the event focused on two key advocacy areas: the national security awareness on the West Philippine Sea and the proper use of emergency services. Around 40 residents participated, receiving lectures and educational materials from both AFP and PNP personnel. The Navotas City Police Office, under the leadership of Police Colonel Renante Penuela, highlighted the importance of the 3 to 5 minute response time via 911 hotline, with Police Staff Sergeant Nigel Dizon Antonio urging public cooperation for quicker emergency response. Meanwhile, Sergeant Jessa Pinheiro, Philippine Air Force of the 7th CRG, led the West Philippine Sea advocacy through an AVP and community discussion promoting the theme, Alamin, Ipaglaban at Suportahan ang West Philippine Sea, further reinforced by leaflet distribution. The event concluded with a feeding activity symbolizing the whole of the nation approach in building national resilience and community. The event concluded with a feeding activity symbolizing the whole of the nation approach in building national resilience and unity. This is Katropang Jesse reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jesse, from 7CRG.
DWDD National News.
For other national news, Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla said the authorities are preparing to present a new civilian witness in the case of the missing Sabongeros. This aims to strengthen the credibility of whistleblower Julie Dondon Patidongan, also known as Totoy. Remulla told reporters that it's not just testimonial evidence, but there is actual proof aside from the story. He also added that the news witness, a civilian whose name has not yet been made public, has never appeared in previous media coverage of the case.
DWDD National News.
The Office of the Vice President said its officials are prepared to defend the possible increase in its budget allocation. OVP spokesperson Ruth Castello said that all of its programs are well documented and easy to understand. Castello explained that funds per project are already lined up and the Office of the Vice President can justify these programs. She also added that the OVP would welcome any possible increase in its budget allocation by Congress. The Department of Budget and Management gave the OVP a budget of 903 million in 2026 from its 2025 budget of 733 million pesos.
Armed Forces Radio.
Let us hear more from El Joy of 1st Year G about 701st Infantry Brigade successfully concludes Regional Youth Leadership Summit 2025.
Yes, ROF, the 703rd Infantry Aguila Brigade Philippine Army, under the leadership of Brigadier General Eugenio Julio COCS the 4th Philippine Army, formally concluded the Regional Youth Leadership Summit 2025 at Living Water Essential College Incorporated, Barangay Palo Maria, Bungabon, Nueva Ecija. The three-day summit brought together youth leaders from the provinces of Nueva Ecija, Aurora, Bulacan, and Pampanga who actively participated in a series of leadership-building activities anchored on the theme Pagkakaisa ng Kabataan, susi sa matatag na kinabukasan. Gracing the closing ceremony as the guest of honor and speaker, Honorable Joby P. Imata, Municipal Mayor of Gabaldon, Nueva Ecija, delivered an inspiring keynote address emphasizing the critical role of young people in nation building. In his declaration for closing, Brigadier General Osias Dufort commended the youth participants for their discipline, passion, and active involvement throughout the summit. The summit officially concluded with the awarding of certificates to the participants and partner stakeholders, highlighting the success of a joint effort among the Philippine Army, local government units, and other partners and civilian sectors in shaping future leaders. With a firm belief in power of the youth to shape a better future, the 703rd Infantry Aguila Brigade reinforced its dedication to advance youth development initiatives that contribute to peace, stability, and inclusive growth in Central Luzon. This is Meljo Inesio Arroco reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Mojo. 1st Year G, about your report about 703rd Infantry Brigade successfully concludes the Regional Youth Leadership Summit 2025.
Armed Forces Radio.
And more updates from Glenn Gulthian about government teams conduct RDANA to speed the typhoon response in Pangasinan.
Yes, Ralph, the government agencies conducted rapid damage assessment and needs analysis operations in Pangasinan to evaluate the impact of the recent typhoon and identify urgent needs of affected communities. Representatives from Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Mines and Geoscience Bureau, Office of Civil Defense, and other held a coordination meeting before deploying to the towns of Mangatarim, Sual, and Labrador. The teams conducted house-to-house assessments and local coordinations to ensure timely delivery of aid and services. Our DANA efforts continue across the province to guide effective recovery and response planning. This is Glenn Gulchan reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Glenn.
DWDD National News.
First Lady Liza Raneta Marcos and Malabon City Mayor Jenny Sandoval led the medical mission, an outreach program brought by the Lab for All caravan benefiting over 1,500 residents. The medical mission under the Laboratorio Consulta at Gamot para sa Lahat caravan provided free medical consultation and oral and laboratory tests as well as dental services. Other services offered during the caravan include ECG, BMI, urinalysis, chest x-ray, blood sugar test, hemoglobin test, as well as free medicines. Sandoval then thanked the First Lady for taking time to visit the city and meet with her constituents.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And that concludes today's broadcast, and thank you for tuning in, especially to our audience on AFP Radio, the WWD's Facebook page. Be sure to join and catch us again tomorrow for more stories and updates, same time and same station. Once again, this is Ralph Susan Abay for AFP Committee News, one AFP for stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Susan every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.